the Women Are Worthy Network. We're going to talk about how do you love a Black woman and how do you love a Black man. We may think we know, but do we really know? So we have a beautiful panel. Look at them. Look at that melanin. Look at the shade. Yes. I like when I have attractive guests, okay? No booger woogers here. So I'm going to have, again, I wanted to do this because I'm seeing so many things in the news. I'm seeing divorces. I'm seeing Black on Black crime. We're killing each other. But I want to keep this in the realm of how can we love one another? Because I need to tell you how I need to be loved. Okay, so starting with, I'd like everyone to introduce themselves, starting with Miss Joy.
Hi, I'm Joy. How are you?
And Kamel.
Kamel, nice to meet everybody.
Chris.
Yeah. Greetings and salutations, Chris.
Ooh, Mr. Kelvin.
Hello, everybody. I'm Kelvin Troy Johnson. I'm a dating and relationship coach, known as the Love Coach of Atlanta, and I'm glad to be here.
He came dressed for the occasion.
He sure did. He came all spiffy. You successfully got dressed successful. You know what I'm saying? So I brought you, you guys together and ladies together because I wanted to talk about relationships. I want to talk about how can we love, because I think it starts with love. So who wants to be the first one to start this off? Because I'm sick of what's going on in our community. I'm sick of it. So who wants to go first?
I'll say something real quick to like, I guess, set the floor or start the floor or whatever. Something that I've been trying to do or something that I've given notice to and I wanted to make like active change towards is like, I don't feel like relationship wise, I feel like it's the Black man's job to uplift the Black woman. I feel like that's like built in our DNA because of our social structure and all these other things. And I don't feel like Black men do a really good job in that, but I also don't feel like Black women do a good job in the reverse role of making sure that they support their king. We're supposed to, you guys have to support us and make us feel kingly, so to speak. And we're supposed to make you feel like queens. And you guys run the house and you guys really run our lives, because everything a man does really is to appease a woman or God, right? So, I feel like there's this two-way street where there's some form of miscommunication on what the roles are. And I'm not talking the traditional take out the trash or get on the roof and clean the gutters type of roles. I'm talking about how us specifically in the Black community needs to support each other through our relationships.
I love what the brother just said. So your question was, how can we love more, right? So there's really only one way to love more, and that is to listen more. You can't love more if you don't listen more, right? You have to be able to hear what's being said, hear what's not being said, and hear what they're really saying. Okay, so you could if I say I would like some roses. What did I say? I want some roses. Why do I want roses? There's a deeper reason that I want roses. Roses make me feel like you love me, and it's sensitive to my heart. You know what I'm saying? And so you go to the thing that's not being said. The other person a lot of times is not saying what it is that they actually want. So communication, it comes right back down to communication and listening for what's being said, what's not being said, and this is how we get to the love space.
Chris,
I think there's a lack of respect and love being reciprocated. I'm like years ago, like the slang that we would use between each other, we would call each other brother, or we would call each other like sister. So even before, like when Crips and Blood started, even before that, like say if I'm speaking to another brother, yo young blood, yo blood, because we had that family type of thing. So that's what reason why Bloods call each other Bloods. Even down south now, even if it's not gang related, Black men will refer to each other as cousin or yo cuz, what's up? Because there used to be that family dynamic years ago. But then there's been some sort of like separation where there's a lack of respect. You have younger people don't respect their elders. You see Black women in black men. I had to part a fight about 2 years ago. This one sister, she was about 5'3", and she was in her man's face, and I knew him. He was about 6'4", and she was in his face like like they was about to be a boxing match or something like that. And I constantly see a lot of black women challenging black men in their face. And then a lot of times what I notice is that if a black man is raising his voice in a woman's face, men will part it and say, no, chill, don't do that. If a black woman is in a man's face and she's raising her voice, black women won't part her. They won't say, stop that, don't do that. They kind of let it go. They kind of let it go on. And I think
get on.
Right. And I think there's something that women don't understand, because there's a constant message that men don't understand women. I'm convinced women do not understand men. Men, we understand. You raise your voice in another man's face, you're basically asking for conflict. There's not that reciprocated respect, like, I don't have to respect you. And it doesn't matter your financial dynamic, social dynamic. You can disagree with someone respectfully. And I think that there's been a strong lack of respect between us.
Joy?
So I commend them for saying what they said. However, when it comes to communication, lack of respect, listening, is it taught? Is it trained? Is it shown? And is it all of those things from your elders? Is it from your peers? Is it from the people you live with? So I think when it comes to loving one another, we have to be taught, we have to be trained, and we have to be shown those things. And if the person who is supposed to be teaching you, training you, and showing you don't know, then you will never know. So then you have to go in the street and wonder, if this is what I'm being shown, taught, and trained, this is how love is supposed to be reciprocated, which normal times, that's not the case. There are not gender roles anymore. However, I was trained and taught and shown as a child that there are gender roles, even when it comes to the way you love. It was the love comes through cooking, or the love comes through, going out and making ends meet for the family. So I just think it's how we grew up being taught those things, being shown those things, and being trained those things, and we have to reorganize or retrain ourselves or reprogram ourselves to love or reciprocate the way love should be given by that person or those people, relationships that we have.
For me, I think, first of all, we're talking about love. I think we need to know what the definition of love is, because maybe I may think the definition is one way, you think it's something else. So I think before we start with this whole love, what is your definition? I need to teach you how to love me. And I don't think that we do that enough. We have to be taught this. We have to learn this, because at the end of the day, if we're not loving ourselves, how are you going to love somebody? How are you going to love someone outside of you? The biggest love should be with yourself. And then outwardly, then you could show other people. So my question to you is, why is it in the African-American community, I'm not talking about the other community, why is it we can't friggin' get it right? Why?
I'll go first again. So for me, the glaring thing that pops out to me is I feel like in the generational gaps, we gain something and we lose something. And with every generation with more freedoms and more things that we can access and do as in our community, I don't want to say we lose our mind, but not everybody's equipped to handle it properly, so to speak. So, from Black people not being able to do anything, then Black men can vote. Now Black women can vote. And now you could be whatever you want to be. You could say, I wasn't supposed, I don't feel like this is not my body. This is not. And so I think there's a whole lot of, and where, like, to go back to what, I forgot who touched on it, but when we was, the older generations and stuff like that, our family, we dealt with tough love. Like, we know our parents love us, but the conversations that we're having with them now would make it seem like we have all these issues with them.
Ooh.
So it's like it started with hardcore love. We had to be a community. We had to be tight because we had all these oppressors around us. And as we start losing stuff, all that Black love is now in the club and it's doing everything else. So now that home environment, that's where it struggles. And also, moms are becoming mothers younger. So kids are raising kids. That's another huge piece of it. Not to knock any woman, but you know, like it's just so I think it's a whole bunch of little pieces of things that as we gain stuff, we start losing the little good ways, and the chivalrous and the old school people are the ones that's like fighting to keep all that stuff alive.
Like what Kamel said, it got lost like generational wise, and there's like a disconnect. But I think the worst part about it is there's not a strong enough effort to want to repair it. That I think that's the strong. There's nobody's really coming with a solution. We can't really rely on our politicians because politicians just want the opportunity to sell us out over and over and over again. Then it's like once the elders, once they like fade away, then it's like, well, nobody's really rushing to like fill the gap. You have like pretends, wannabes, money grabbers, fake politicians, fake priests. But there's been no concerted effort to like fill in the gap of like that family, that black love that we need, because that was always our answer for everything.
For me, when I got married, I wanted to talk to someone who's married, longer than myself. This October, I'm married 32 years, and I try to help people as much as I can, but I don't see those out there looking to get married. Forget about clients that's willing to come up to me and say, hey, how did you do it? Now, so when I say it, they're like, oh my God, but they're not looking to learn from my experience. And we're not talking about clients, we're just talking about people that I know. They're not looking to get that experience. And I know for me, how I was raised and branching off, I wanted to meet people who were married a long time. How was it successful? My grandfather, I did everything with him. And I wanted to know because my grandmother she was something. And I wanted to know, how did they remain married? So I asked those questions. What'd you say?
I think my generation did ask a lot of questions. We didn't get a lot of answers, or the answers that we needed to get. We was asking a lot of questions. Certain things we would end up finding out later on, that might, hold on a minute, like I asked you this, so I asked you that. You made it seem like it was something completely different. Now I'm finding out something, way off from what you were saying. I mean, I think a lot of them was a question.
There's a fine line between protecting your kids and what you think is right at that moment versus what happens 20, 30 years later and what turns out to be a bad decision. And I think that's what
he's trying to
really
say.
Talking about right now. Yeah.